Okay, now we're going to see Carlos I, who is Charles I, right, of Spain, and the 5th of Germany. This slide is enormous, has lots of information, and all the key things you need to know about him are here more or less. A few other details come later. So he was born in Ghent, which means he was from Belgium, so he was Flemish, right, in 1500. His parents were Juan Ana López and Felipe Hermoso, just so we're clear, situating him in time, right? In 1516, he became king of Castilla, so he was 16 years old. He arrived, right, basically in 1517, he's 17, he barely knows any Spanish, and of course they sent him with a bunch of Flemish nobles, who were his advisors, who told him what he had to do. So this poor guy has no idea what's going on, he's a child, right, he's in fourth of Essos. The people were not happy because, their queen dies, and here comes this child who doesn't even know the language, has no idea what's going on, and is being advised by people who are not even Spanish, right? So there was a lot of mistrust between the new king and the Spanish people, that later results in the Comunero rebellion, for example. Later he was elected, in 1519, he was elected emperor of the Holy Roman Empire. So there he becomes Charles V of Germany, right? Eventually, much later, these last 2 points are just talking about how his kingdom ends, right? In 1556, he renounces the imperial crown, so the Habsburg part of his territory, which is basically this, up here, the Holy Roman Empire, and this, goes to his brother, Ferdinand. And the Spanish part, all of this down here, goes to his son, Felipe II, right? So he inherits Spain in all of his positions, right? This map has a high possibility of appearing on the exam. I want you to have very clear just how much territory this man was inheriting, right? You have all of Spain, but we're talking about Aragon, that includes almost all of the Mediterranean at this point, and the entire Holy Roman Empire, and these problematic areas. Remember what's going on with the Protestants and the Protestant Reformation, but he's an emperor with tons and tons of land. Okay? But he has lots of problems. One in Spain is the Germania revolt. So this is a rebellion against the nobility by the armed brotherhoods, which were created by guilds in Valencia and Mallorca. Right? Basically, they're sick of the nobles, right? We're still getting basically abused by the remnants of this feudal system, right? And they don't want the monarch either. They don't want to replace the local feudal lords with an extremely strong king who's also emperor of Germany, right? They're sick of it. They don't want any of this, so they start a rebellion, which was inspired by the Italian republics, right? The small city-states, right? But the bigger problem was the Comuneros, and this was more or less because of his foreign advisors, like I said before, the Flemish nobility who came, told him what to do, and raised the taxes for the people. They were sick of it, and they rebelled. Of course, the emperor's supporters beat the Comuneros, and all the leaders were beheaded. Their heads were cut off, so that wouldn't happen again. Right? Here's his seal, because, as I told you, so many of the images are going to come up on the exam, and you'll remember you have two eagles. One is representing the Kingdom of Spain, and the other is representing the Habsburg territory of the Holy Roman Empire. So if you see two eagles, you know that it's Carlos I, Carlos V. Right? That's a good way to remember it. You have to remember how to distinguish it from the seal of, for example, Felipe II. Okay. We have a constant battle with the Ottoman Turks that erupts in some battles in the Mediterranean because Turks are here, right? His territory is here. So he's very careful to make sure to check them out, right? They're Muslims and they're afraid of all of Europe falling under Muslim rule again, just like it almost happened under the Muslim occupation of Spain. Right? We have the constant problem of the German princes who support Protestantism in Germany, right? And he defeats them at a battle called Mühlberg, right? Where we have, which we saw in the film Luther, created so much death and so much blood. But later, he ends up making peace with them in Augsburg. This remember we saw in the last scene of the film where everybody kneels down to have their heads cut off because he finally saw that he couldn't control people's religious persuasion and agreed to allow each kingdom, each small kingdom of these princes to decide what religion they were going to have and impose it on their subjects. And that's why in Germany you have an area of basically the size of a province that can be Protestant, and then next door you have the same size area that's Catholic. Okay?